The state of R&B music continues to be a conversation within the music industry. While the genre has shifted the melodies, the essence of soul still remains at the core of our culture. This is R&B's Not Dead.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Music Meeting. It's a virtual experience where we have discussions with some of the greatest artists in entertainment today. I'm so very pleased and honored to be your host. I'm your radio girl from DC. I'm Asia from Magic 102.3 and 92.7. And I'm joined today by, again, some amazing, talented artists. I'm here with Donell Jones. I'm here with the Raheem DeVaughn and the one and only Johnny Gill. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you. What's happening?
What's going on? So, so thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we are having a discussion about R&B, and that's why we chose you amazing artists, because, a lot of people are saying that R&B is dead, but I don't believe that to be true. R&B is like setting my soul. It's like it pumps to my, blood flow to my heart. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we want to talk to you about today, about R&B. So I'll start with you first, Raheem. Today in the industry, do you believe that R&B is dead?
Absolutely not. I think in fact, with the way that the digital world works now, platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and whatnot, like you can really go down the rabbit hole and find a vast selection of different shades and tones of R&B and soul music, and the culture has shifted where everybody has their own kind of like fan base and community through the art of music. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great time for the R&B and soul culture.
Absolutely. Donell, how do you feel about R&B today? Do you feel like it's evolving in and of itself, or do you feel like the original art form is still true?
I feel like the original art form is still true. I mean, you still got brothers out here killing the game, some sisters out here killing the game like her, Raheem. You got a lot of people out here really pushing this culture forward. The only thing I would really say about the youngsters that's out here right now is just the fact that just the subject matter probably needs to be better. And the songwriting, but other than that, man, the music sounds good. The flow is right there. Melodies are great, so I think we're in a good place.
All right. So Johnny, the days of CDs have just been long gone. I would have asked you what's the top 6 CDs in your CD changer, but you'd be like, what kind of car do you drive? What do you find yourself listening to the most?
Oh my goodness, everything actually. I'm, as a musician, that's what happens is it causes you're just inspired by anything. I mean, we'll sit around talking junk, trash, and it's lyrics come up, ideas, concepts for songs, to music, to beats, to everything. I mean, you can be, that I'm inspired by. And when you talk about R&B being dead, I know in 2010, coming back, I think the first single off of the Still Winning album was In the Mood. And that ran for a whole year, and that was during a time in the era where they were saying that R&B it was really struggling, and people wasn't really supporting it in that manner. But that song went for a year. We actually called radio and asked them if they could pull back because we was trying to get ready for another single. So, my thoughts are, if R&B is dead, nobody gave me an invitation to the funeral.
I like that.
I know that's right. I mean, Johnny, being a pioneer in the industry, what have you found some of your biggest challenges over the course of the years? Like when you are trying to create that new music, what do you think are your difficulties, if you have any at all?
You're going to always have this thing that I've always disagreed with about being old school. Old school kind of puts you in a position that it's not even about whether the song is really great or not. It's just that they put you in this category. That's what has killed this industry. I think if you look at the industry and look at how things have been segregated as far as, contemporary versus traditional, and it's like, and I think that it has put a chokehold on people being able to just enjoy great music. If it's real, the one thing about a hit record, a hit song is it resonates with people. It's something that's magical. And I think a lot of times when you start to put a song that can only be played just in this format on this one versus this, and it's like, you find that I feel that it's part of what has come back and became that's really a backlash to why the industry has been suffering so much with when it comes down to whether it's just R&B and whether it's just the sale of music, period. But we're now in the streaming world, and we get all of those things, and which I think is moving and pushing us forward. But I just wish that, because there was a time that when you just made great songs was just great songs, where when it reached a hit was just a hit, it connected everywhere because everyone had an opportunity to hear it.
I said, I see you nodding your head in agreement with Johnny. Do you often find yourself being categorized as old school also?
All the time. I think it's just a word,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older now, but I still make great music. It's really all about just putting your best foot forward, making the best music you can, and gearing towards your fan base, and that's what I do.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you, I have like specific songs that I listen to from each and every one of you. Johnny, if I'm trying to get in the mood or whatever, I put on my red dress. I put on my sweet perfume. You know what I mean? Raheem, my haters anthem. I got that on blast. Like, haters, what? And Donell, you speak to me all the time. Everything I'm going through, I'm like, let me listen to some Donell Jones. So
what's crazy? I'm sorry, Donell. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry, but Donell, your name just came up. Day before yesterday, we were playing this game where we were playing music. I was with Janet, and we're playing this game where we had some of our friends on, and we just playing different music. And she got your song immediately because we only played like a few bars of it, and she was going, "That's my joint, because that's my joint." And we was like, "Oh, hey, wait, let's give everybody a turn, at least hear it." And she identified it right off the bat, and and it's so funny when I just saw you, I was like, "Wow, we was just talking about you."
Wow.
See, that's what I mean. Timeless, absolutely timeless.
Yeah.
So, Raheem, being an artist in the industry, do you find it more difficult to be signed versus unsigned? Like, what are your difficulties being an R&B artist?
I think being independent, it just gives you more leverage. It gives you more freedom to do whatever you want to do. So it's a lot more work involved a lot of the times, but it's worth it in the long run. It's worth it. You can kind of really just control your destiny, what you want to do.
To own yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody once said, "Treat yourself, don't beat yourself." Now, when you can own your work, your music, and have the opportunity to do what you want to do with it and roll with it the way you want to roll with it, it comes at a price. But at the end of the day, there's nothing sweeter when you can raise your hand in victory, knowing that you did it and was able to do it the way that you saw it, doing based on your vision.
That's amazing. Yep, I agree.
Donell and Johnny, having music from the 90s and 2000s, a lot of people say that was the golden music era, right? A lot of people say those were the real eras or decades that R&B kind of came out to its truest form. Now, I mean, that doesn't take away, of course, from the Marvin Gaye and all that other stuff. And I'm just saying R&B really hit us hard.
I would be a little biased, obviously, because that was during that era where, that we came up in, that was just fun. And we didn't have video cameras moving around. We didn't have a lot of social media where everybody could be on there hiding behind the typewriter and saying, it was just a time where it was just like, hey, man, we just was living and enjoying. Right. And I think, we were the last of the Mohicans when you think about it, of that era.
Right.
Nowadays, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, right. And piggyback off what he was saying. I just think in the 90s, it was so many guys doing R&B, but everybody had their own style. Like nobody doing the same type of things. And I think that's what made it special. But I think my most favorite era would have to be the 70s, though. For me, that's my favorite era. That's what I go back and I listen to all the time. Like the 70s was like a big thing for me. Yeah.
Right. So if you say you have to identify with anybody, like who would you say you identify the most with, Donell, like from our R&B singers in the past?
I love Teddy Pendergrass. I don't have that voice like Teddy, but I love Teddy Pendergrass because he made those heartfelt songs and just the way he delivered. That was my favorite artist. And of course, Babyface. It's so many people back in the days, but Teddy.
Wait, you putting Babyface in the 70s? Like what?
Write songs back then. Like they was writing songs back then. But
I know, I'm
my
messing with
favorite
you.
artist would definitely have to be Teddy Pendergrass.
Babyface.
All right, Johnny, same question. If you had to identify with any other R&B artist from like the 70s, who would you identify with the most?
Oh Jesus. Man, that's a tough one because we got Marvin, we got the OJs. My pops was at that time, Pop was he was a pit bull. That was the one that, you have some artists that because that would be my lane of style as a vocalist was what,
Right.
Pop Levert did. And that would be one of those guys that you go, I don't think I want to go on after him. He was a pit bull. But I mean, from the OJs to Marvin, definitely Luther. Teddy. Luther came obviously later, but it's so many of them. So many.
Right.
Peebo Bryson.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Glenn Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. Raheem, do you identify with anybody from the 70s?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll say Marvin Gaye.
He wasn't even born.
Yeah,
Don't let him trick you like that.
I would definitely say like Marvin. Sure.
That's too funny. I love this. So listen, I want to ask Johnny a question. Johnny, do you feel like there's any pressure to kind of conform to the music industry, what they decide is good R&B versus bad R&B? Do you feel like you often have to bend to fit their mold?
To some degree, and that's not a bad thing. Listen, sometimes being forced to get and step outside of that comfort zone, outside of that box, to continue to grow, to try different things. I mean, it forces your hand, but it's also can be looked at as a good thing from a creative standpoint, to be challenged, because you can get to a point where you just get into a place where you're just comfortable with what you do and what your lane is, but at the same time, and not be challenged to continue to grow artistically. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I'm just like, okay, this is what it is. Okay, but I like it. But I mean, if y'all don't like it, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's go.
Okay. Have you ever had a situation where you kind of stood your ground? You're like, no, I'm going to do it this way, and this is the way I'm going to do it. And it was just like a hit, and you just went with your gut?
Oh, yeah, In the Mood.
Okay.
I remember when I did partners with a friend of mine, and I remember when we did In the Mood, they wanted to go with another record, and I was like, no, we're going. This is what feels right to me, and I fought tooth and nails, and obviously it went right straight to the top, number one. So, it's sometimes you do have to go on the gut feeling, but you also got to be open and realize and be and willing to take open criticism. I mean, constructive criticism, because that's a part of what comes with it too. So. Not knowing, trying to act like you know everything, but I did my due diligence. It felt right for me, and then I just kind of watched and saw some of the reaction and did some research before I even decided that this is where we were going to go. But I stood my ground on what I felt that felt right for me. So,
right, I love that. Donell, I'm going to ask you something similar. So, you've been in the industry for a while. Also, do you ever find yourself having to conform? Like, have you ever had to stand your ground and say, no, I want to do this song and this is the way I'm going to do it?
To be honest with you, I never had that problem. I just do what I feel. I've done that from the beginning.
All right.
And I listen to new music. I listen to old music. I just try to find a way to bridge the gap. I don't complain. It is what it is. I just love to make music, and that's what I've been doing for a long time. And whatever comes out of me is what I give to the public.
I love that. Raheem, do you have any tips for any R&B artists, like how to navigate to do it by themselves, do it on their own? Do you have any advice for up-and-coming artists?
I say the first thing, you just gotta have the courage to just start putting out music. And the trial and the error. I know it's a lot of dope artists out there that are just making music for themselves and never, put it out. So you just gotta kind of put it out, start to build your own community. Utilize the social media. And different platforms to outsource it and build that community and build that following, and live performance is like our bread and butter,
Right.
Whether it's virtual performances or live performances, you got to kind of be prepared to do all of those things. And there's no time like the present, because if ever there was a time when people like are really absorbing music and going back and listening to music and discovering new artists and stuff like that, like this is a time like people got they have time to do it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that technology has changed the game a little bit? You feel like it's more of an advantage, or is it to your advantage, or you feel like it's actually like hindering you or hurting you at all?
I feel like if you utilize it properly, like it's a huge advantage, because you can do it's just a click of a button. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you have content, it's just about it being edited and putting it on a schedule, and it's so many cool and innovative things that I've been seeing happen. You know, through social media, not just for music and what we do, but just content.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, yeah, like to be able to live in a virtual space where, you know, people will call and say, well, hey, if you don't feel comfortable coming, you know, getting on the plane, what's the virtual package, or how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's really just about being prepared for either scenario.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Donell, how have you found yourself kind of like dealing with the whole virtual world nowadays since COVID? Do you find yourself doing a lot of at-home concerts? Do you find yourself doing a lot of virtual concerts?
I haven't done it. I'm not interested in the virtual concerts. I mean, to be honest with you, I love being in front of my fans. I love touching people. I mean, there's nothing more special than that. I mean, I just can't. I've tried it and I didn't like it. Just being in front of a screen and trying to. It's not the same. It's not the same as being out there and seeing those people, feeling that energy. So yeah, I'm happy that things are opening back up and I'm back on the road again.
Right. And what are your thoughts about technology? Do you feel like it's a helpful advantage for you, or do you feel like it's a hindrance?
I think it's very helpful. I mean, when I came out, they were sending in fan mail, and we had to open each and every, so now they can hit us up directly. I think it is a blessing and a curse, because now it's made it where everybody thinks that they can do what we do, and it's kind of watered down the music a tad bit.
Okay.
Technology to me is not a bad thing either. I mean, it all challenges you, and I just think at the end of the day, sometimes you do have to be challenged to continue to grow. So can it help? Can it be a great help? I think to some degree, it's just the one thing I just always tell everybody is that we can't. Listen, it's so great to try different music, to want to do different things, not be pigeonholed, and be able to be free to do what you feel that and express yourself artistically. But it's just never losing the essence of who you are. That's the most important thing when doing what you do. Try things, do things. That's important so you can continue to grow. But just when you know who you are and just not compromising that of who you are, you can build everything around you, and you should be able to do and have the right to do that. But technology has provided us opportunities also to try different things that we would probably never hear or think if it wasn't for it. So it all can work hand in hand.
Right. But Johnny, you've been in the industry for a very long time. I mean, you started as a child in this game. So like, when did you think that you kind of found yourself, when you were able to say, this is who I am, this is who I want to be, and this is who I am in the game?
I found myself when they gave me my first check, and I was like, oh, this works. That's my beat. Yep. This is who I am. It was all right by me. No, no, it was just, I think it's a growth process that you go through. I remember recording the very first record with this guy, Freddie Perrin, who did all of the Jackson stuff. I Want You Back, ABC, and some of the other stuff. And I remember recording that very first album, but I kept saying to myself, and I didn't know nothing about technology and recording or any of that. And I kept saying to myself, because I was just a little innocent kid that was just coming from church, and I kept saying, this doesn't really sound like what I would like to sound like.
Right.
And I couldn't put my fingers on any of that stuff because I just didn't know. It was all new to me. But even then, I realized that I was looking for something, and it still didn't feel like that was me.
Right.
So over time, as time went on and started working with other people, and Linda Creed, who wrote Have Crazy, and some of the other writers and producers, then it started feeling like I was starting to find that it was starting to shape. And I was starting to feel, getting an idea and starting to feel like this is feeling a little more closer to what I was expecting as a recording artist. So, it's growth. and it was a process.
Right. Absolutely. Donell, you too, you've been in the game for a while. When do you feel like, you definitely knew who you were, what you wanted to leave your mark in the industry as?
I think when I was doing my second album, shortly after my first album, I got with Eddie F. And when I started writing songs about my own personal experiences in my life, and like songs like Where I Want to Be, that's something that really actually happened to me. That's when I knew I had found myself, when I was able to share my truth with the world without being ashamed or without feeling some kind of way about it.
Right. Absolutely. Where You Want to Be, Where You Are, all those songs. Just like, love those songs. So absolutely. And Raheem?
I think growth in time, creativity, so now I'm in a space of like, it's always quality over quantity,
Was it difficult for you to make that transition to go from being in a group environment to a solo environment?
Absolutely not. I think all experiences, I look at it like high school, college, universities, and preparing you for the pro league, and so you take all those experiences and grow from them and learn from them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, Johnny, you kind of went from individual to duo to group to individual. You kind of went through many different forms in the industry. Did you find it difficult making that transformation or changing over from the group to solo career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was an adjustment. It was absolutely an adjustment. What I realized too is when you're dealing with, because I started out as a solo artist, and joining the group, what it did is it brought me balance, understanding that for me, being a team player was just as important. Learning that brought balance, understanding that you don't necessarily have to be in the front at all the time. What I did notice was the difference between being a solo artist and being in a group is the checks get split a different kind of way. And I was talking to my accountant trying to figure out exactly, hold on, player. So now how does this go? But no, it was an adjustment. But at the end of the day, that's what I learned from that, and that's what the thing. If you ever look in all of the New Edition stuff, everybody would be fighting, trying to figure out who gets the first line of a song, who's going to be in the middle, all that stuff. If you ever look at most of the pictures, I'm always in the back. I've never been one that. I've always been secure,
right,
with myself in the sense of just understanding that. When you're playing with the team, when you're on a team, everybody has a role to play. And whatever my role was, Jimmy and Terry was talking about this the other night. How they told me I wasn't going to sing anything on the album. I was like, okay, not a problem.
right.
And that was because I knew coming in, my role was to just be a part of the team. And that means whatever role that I was supposed to play, I said, okay, cool, let's do it. If it means singing nothing on the album, I'm good with that.
All right.
Yeah.
There you have it. I love that. I do. Donell, I want to ask you a question. Do you feel like the labels kind of show less priority to R&B artists over, the other genres of music?
Of course. I mean, it's been like that since the beginning. I think, well, except for Motown, probably.
Okay.
About all R&B label, but I think for the most part, yeah. I mean, when I was they played a lot more attention to the pop artists than they did the R&B artists. I think that's just because it's popular. They make more money over there on that side, and that's what it is. But other than that, I got my fair share. I don't feel like I got slighted at any point in my career.
Okay. And Raheem, is that one of the reasons why you definitely ventured off into your own world, wanted to do this by yourself, because you wanted to make sure that you were a priority and that you made yourself first?
I mean, absolutely. Like, you have to make yourself the priority as an artist. I think as a whole, I think Black music something that is like easily devalued and discarded, across the board. When you talk about hip hop music, when you talk about R&B, you talk about soul music, if it's not serving a certain agenda, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's very important that, us having ownership. It's like I said earlier, it's a lot more work involved, but you can control the narrative of what happens, not only with your art, but you know how quickly or you want to put it out as well.
Okay. All right. So, you know, Barack Obama, every single year, he creates his own list of favorite artists, you know, favorite artists, favorite movies, favorite books, and all that good stuff. So right now, I need you all to channel your inner Barack Obama. And I want you to tell me your top favorite 3 artists today. I'll start with you first, Raheem.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Ari Lennox.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Sir.
Okay.
And man, I don't know.
I'm putting you on the spot.
It has to be a new. Oh, I'm gonna go with Alex Isley.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Donell Jones, what are your top 3?
I'm gonna go with her. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with Ella May, and gotta support my little brother Jacquees.
Okay. All right. There it is. All right. Johnny Gill, same question.
I'm gonna go with Bruno's for one. I love what he's doing.
Right.
Her, she's another one that's a real true musician, artist, songwriter, which I really really appreciate. And then it's just a toss up from that point. Wow, you're just talking about for current artists right now.
Yes. Current artists right now. Top 3.
And I'm definitely gonna say Neil. I've always loved he's,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So those would probably
Absolutely.
be my 3.
Yeah. I love all your choices. Great choices. Now, do you feel like there are enough R&B artists today to kind of keep the genre alive? Or do you feel like we need to kind of like go back and still kind of recreate or go back to our, like, who they deem old school artists and tell them to come back and we need all y'all to make like 10 more albums because we need more R&B in rotation. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
There's a surge. You can see and feel there's a surge that is taking place with R&B. And you know, the industry has always been this way where music go in cycles. And it's like, you know, whether it was disco to whatever. And even with R&B, R&B is one of those, I mean, listen, everything derives from R&B if you ask me. It's like rhythm and blues is where it all starts. I think it just goes in different directions, but it always comes back and finds its way back, comes full circle. And if you look right now with some of the, you know, the acts that are out that are putting out music, I mean, you know, you know, R&B is never died. It's just that you could feel a surge of R&B right now, which is a beautiful thing. But you know, my pops once said, Pop LeVert said, I remember he told somebody, he said, R&B is like the bastard of the music industry. It's like we're at the bottom of the totem pole. They won't show us on these award shows. They show all of the other stuff and categories. And when it comes to R&B, it's like he said we're at the bottom of the totem pole. But the reality is that it's going to always be here, going to always be around. And for as long as we all continue to keep doing it and keep pushing it in their faces, I think that at the end of the day, we'll continue to uphold, do our part to hold R&B up in the highest form and in the highest light. So
I love that.
I
Thank you.
agree.
either that next week I'm gonna do a rap album and everything. Like I told you, my name is gonna be
Let me hear you
Jay
spit a
Skills.
flow.
Yeah. I'm trying to, you know, make sure I fit and take care of everybody. So, you know.
Let me hear you spit a bar real quick, Johnny.
Yeah. How's that?
That was nothing. So, Donell, I want to ask you your next question. Listen, do you believe that R&B should be kind of entered into subcategories? Do you feel like they're like different genres of R&B within R&B?
I don't. I just feel like it should be named R&B. I mean, I think we already kind of segregate R&B so much already. You got neo soul,
Right.
so it's just so many of them. I think it just should be R&B, man. Love music, heart from the heart, you know, and just give them somebody something to think about.
Right. And Raheem, what do people mostly define you as? I know people have often referred to you as neo soul. Most people define you as like, you know, old classic R&B. What are your thoughts and how do you define yourself in the music industry?
At this point, I guess I make millennial soul and R&B. You know.
Okay, wait a minute. Is that a new subcategory? What is it? Millennials?
I figure that's what it is. You know.
That's it. Millennial, neo soul, and R&B.
Yeah, millennial soul and R&B.
Millennial soul and R&B. Okay. We got a new subcategory. I love that. All right. And lastly, I'm going to ask this question to all of you. What would be your advice to up-and-coming artists that you see now, the ones that are trying to be discovered on YouTube, the ones that are out here on the corners? You have a lot of, just especially in the DC and the DMV area, just a lot of artists on the corner singing their hearts out. What would be your advice to the babies coming up? I'll start with you, Donell.
I would say study the greats and never think that you know it all. You know, even today, I'm still learning about new things I could do with music. And, you know, believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen unless you believe in yourself. This is your dream. You got to make it come true. A lot of people are going to play a role in it, but at the end of the day, this is your dream. So get out there, study, and make sure that you believe in yourself. That matters.
Raheem?
I would say, you know, equally, you have to be a student of your craft. You know, you're gonna hear a lot of no's, so you just gotta, you know, respectfully, you gotta be prepared for what you want and take what you want respectfully. And you know, the work that you put into it is what you get out of it. Make sure you got a proper team around you, and even on the smallest level, because you know, there's no I in the word team. You know, not to be cliche. And you know, and remember, like, you know, the music business is the only business where you get an opportunity to make a first, a second, a third, a fifth, a 10th impression. Meaning, like, you can throw things to the wall continuously, and everything you do might not stick. Every feature, every remix, every single, every album. But you know, when everything aligns like it does, and you know, you tap into that greater you on any given night, you can make something that changes the entire trajectory of like the culture, or you know, that love song that everybody wants to walk down the aisle to, or that record that everybody wants to party to. So, and you know, that those are the magical moments, I think, that are the driving force for not only artists on here today, but just in general. So it's why what we do when we do it at our greatest pinnacle. You know what I mean? It's magical.
Right. Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? What are your tips to up and coming artists today? What would be your advice?
Sit down, get out the way. I ain't done yet. Y'all can come when I'm done. Ain't enough room. Go on. I feel like Little Richard. They ain't never gave me nothing.
I like that answer, man. That was a good one right there, buddy. Oh, man.
No, I think. No, this is you know, for the young ones that are coming in and that's in this business, the most important thing is educating and learning and this business, understanding where you're going. In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you come from, and that is doing research, understanding and knowing whose shoulders you're riding on. That's important, and just loving what you're doing here and doing this, because listen, I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but everybody ain't gonna make it. But it's not about whether you make it or not. Just enjoy it, and if you enjoy it, that's all that matters. If you get something out of it and you enjoying it, listen, everybody, listen. They can only be number one at a time.
That's it.
Hey, listen, you didn't hear from me.
All right, y'all. So listen, that's going to wrap up our forum today. I thank you all so much for joining us. Listen, on the count of three, I need everybody to say R&B is not dead. 1, 2, 3.
R&B is not dead.
Absolutely. I love that. Johnny, hopefully we'll see you in the DMV, walking around, rolling around. Raheem, I'm hoping to see you in December at Love Life. I'm hoping that you're doing that in 2021. Donell, I'm hoping that we see you on the screen somewhere. You're going to have to make your way, travel around. I'm hoping to see you on the stage real soon, right? Can you let everybody know before we go how they can follow you?
Y'all can hit me up on twitter.com/DonellJones96. My Facebook is Donell Jones Music, and my Instagram is Donell Jones Forever. It's a lot of names, but
there you go. Raheem, how can everybody follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Raheem_. DeVaughn, Facebook.com/Raheem DeVaughn, YouTube.com/Raheem DeVaughn. Make sure you follow me on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, all those cool things. I got a brand new album out, Love Sick. It's my second release in the last 6 months. Prior to that, What a Time to Be in Love. Make sure you check out all those bodies of work.
Donell, are you working on a new project?
I just did this remix for a song called Karma that has myself, Dave Hollister, Carl Thomas, RL from Next, and Jacquees on it. Pretty dope record. Also, we just made an announcement that myself, Carl Thomas, and Dave Hollister, we're gonna do a group, kind of taking it from the LSG. You know what I'm saying? Kind of, doing that thing that they did. So it's gonna be really fun getting together. We're gonna do a residency in Vegas starting September. So it's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Taking a page out of Johnny Gill's group, LSG. I love that.
They started it. So we just wanted to jump.
Raheem, you just recently came out with a collaborative group as well, right?
Well, yeah, I did a project with Apollo Brown from Detroit, Michigan. Big shout out to Apollo. I've been doing like one-off projects with different producers. Like 6 months ago, it was The Colleagues, What a Time to Be in Love, and then most recently, the Love Sick album. Which we got the album available on vinyl and CD and all that cool stuff. So, click on any of the bio links on IG, Instagram, or Twitter, and it'll take you where you can check out my most recent body of work.
I love that. Thank you. And last but not least, the Johnny Gill. How can everybody follow you and tell us what you've been working on?
You can follow me on Instagram, Real Johnny Gill 22. I just want y'all to know I'll be answering this stuff. So when y'all be talking trash, the problem is I go right back at you. I told one guy he was messing with me. He kept talking trash, and I was just like, "Shut up, before I knock you out with my wallet." He shut up though. He got quiet. I've just been working with getting ready to get this tour stuff going with New Edition, and of course getting ready to reopen the Game Change album and putting out some stuff. We're getting Ralph ready to go, and also signing some new acts to the label. So I've just been staying busy with all that stuff and just keeping it rocking. It's been fun. I'm having fun, and I said when it's no longer fun, I'm out.
Right. Well, I still love this one's for me and you. That's a bomb. And I'm so excited that you guys are going to be in Vegas next year, 2022.
Yeah.
What? That's going to be awesome. Yep. I'm going to be there. One of the shows, I'm going to be there. So
yeah, we'd love to have you.
Yes, I'm going to be right there. Like, hey, front and center, I'm going to try to find all my old T-shirts. They're somewhere. They're somewhere. All right, y'all. So that concludes our panel discussion today. R&B's not dead. We're all in agreement that R&B's not dead. It's alive and well. I've enjoyed being your host today. Again, I'm Asia from Radio 1 DC, and you can follow me at Always Ask Asia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse. Again, that's Always Ask Asia. Thank you so much for joining us for the music meeting. We'll have more coming your way, so stay here and stay blessed.